Welcome to Gaming with Musicians. My name is Zengi, and this is my show where I talk and play all things games with musicians. I had the pleasure of meeting the next guest from the Bass Drags Back tour in Europe. He is an awesome acrylic bassist for Exodus, Jack Gibson. All right. Well, Jack, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Except for the stupid getting locked in everywhere.
Yeah. What have you been doing since you've been in quarantine, though? What's your day to day?
I've been working in the studio here. I've been having one of the kids come over at a time, and we've been actually doing tracking, just kind of staying busy.
Gotcha. So you're on this podcast show, whatever you want to call it, Gaming with Musicians, and there's a reason you're here,
Mhm.
and I'm talking to you today. You want to tell me a little bit about that? Tell me about your past, what you used to do, and or I mean, if you even game now and all that.
I don't really do. I don't play any video games anymore because my era of video games was this like stand up arcade games. I was actually managed an arcade back in the day, like a full. It was a full on, like in the glory days of Tron, uh, stand up arcade, and we had bumper cars and that kind of shit too. But it was really just like an arcade. So
What was the name? Where was that at?
it was called Regency Game Palace. It was in Concord, California.
Which,
It had been like there had been a movie theater there, and then it was the arcade for the movie theater, and the movie theater closed, but the arcade stayed open. So,
well, do you find yourself playing those games though while you were there? I'm sure.
oh fuck, all the
Well, I
time.
mean, what was your favorite one that you probably say you spent the most time playing?
Um, I liked the fight games. It was in the days of the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter
Mm-hmm.
games, and there was this one. There was a game. It was like the machine was called Neo Geo, and you could get like it had three games in the whole stand
Mm-hmm.
up thing, and you could kind of switch them around.
Okay.
So like if you bought the machine, then you could buy little games and kind of plug them in. And one of them that was in there was a game called Samurai Showdown, and it was kind of like uh, Street Fighter. Like it had kind of the same moves, uh, joystick wise, as those fight games. And it was more of a cartoon though, and then the guys fought with swords. It was like samurais and ninjas and shit like that. It was cool.
Gotcha. I mean, other than that, with managing it, do you have perks? You just like take the tokens and put it in, or do you have to pay out of your
I
pocket?
Oh no, I had total unlimited shit. In fact, like at night we had raging parties in there. Like my boss didn't even give a shit. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like sometimes my boss would be in there partying while I was finishing the books. In the office. Like we would just have our friends over and we'd open the games up and be drinking, smoking in there and shit. Just having like parties all the way through the night. Like it was fun.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
they have like racing games. You play like racing, sit behind the steering wheel and race.
Yeah. There was a couple good ones. What the heck was it? There was a Sega one, like a real good sit-down game where you were like, racing through the streets of cities and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, man, they had it for Nintendo 64, and I owned it. It was like cruising the USA or cruise You across the.
Yeah, I remember that one, but that wasn't this one. This one had a I can't remember what it was, but it was a really cool racing game. It was good.
With a
So
lot of vintage arcades, I know a lot of them are for sale and stuff like that. Do you own any vintage arcades or any vintage games?
no, I thought about getting some. I just got a house here in Nashville, and I was thinking of maybe looking up, some of the old ones that I really did like, because I know how to take care of them. Really,
Mm.
with just a box of switches and some wire, I could pretty much keep them running. So.
Do you, being there, and I'm sure, I mean, you're hearing all these sounds from all these games, and is there like a theme song for you out of all these arcades that's like just takes you back to that day, like your favorite theme song you like listening to from an arcade?
I don't really think about it. I don't even know. I mean, well, yeah, it'd be all like the songs from Donkey Kong. Like Donkey Kong was the first game I liked
Mm.
and like spent money on when I was a kid. You know.
Did you own games? Did you own a console as a kid at home?
No, I never liked playing at home. I mean, I had like an
Mm-hmm.
Atari, like when everybody had Ataris, but I never really got into the home gaming thing.
Is there a game that you like absolutely hated or anything because it was just so hard it kicked your ass trying to play or you could never beat in the arcade?
No, not really. There was this one. It was like a helicopter combat
Mm-hmm.
game. You both could sit in it, and it was like a military helicopter dogfighting type
Mm-hmm.
game. And it had this setting. It was real, like real helicopter flight. And man, I couldn't fly that thing fucking 2 inches off the fucking ground, like with like it had real helicopter
Mm-hmm.
control things, and man, if you put it on the real helicopter flight, man, I couldn't fly that thing for fucking shit, man. It was terrible. So that used to frustrate me.
So, working there, and you haven't really played video games since or anything like that, right?
No, not
Any
really.
any like board games, card games at home with family, friends, anything?
I always played also. It was where we started our conversation about this. Is I grew up and still rarely I do, but I played Dungeons and Dragons like all my life.
So,
And
get going into that. I mean, is there a class that you like? Are you like I mean, like a barbarian, a warrior? Or are you more of like a far distant, like rogue shooting a
dude,
bow?
kind of the beauty of playing those games is being able to do different things. So like being locked into one thing. I think for a while I was kind of locked into being like you know kind of like a rogue assassin or a ranger type, stealthy type of thing. But I mean, part of the fun is playing different roles. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like doing something different with a character. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to copy the same thing over
And
and over.
correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, with playing Dungeons and Dragons, you have different skill sets and abilities. Is there like bizarre skills that you or the people you play with would make up? Like, I mean, because you can have like your stealth skill or like, strength, but like something stupid like a seduction or like you guys have any stupid skills that people use?
Yeah, I mean every character kind of develops his own. Takes the different. I mean that's kind of one of the things about playing in real life as opposed to playing on a computer, is you can have these ideas and kind of work them out and work them into the game. If it isn't written in the letter of the
Mm-hmm.
law, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's the whole point of having a player and a dungeon master, a person running the game. is to kind of bridge those gaps. So, yeah, I mean, we constantly had, things that, like not like, bent the rules, but, changed the rules and, you know what I mean? Things that were unexpected and cool things,
Did you always have
that,
the same like dungeon master? Did you ever be the dungeon master when you played?
I mean, I had, yeah. I mean, we rotated, doing it. There was a couple guys though that were really better at it, you know, and they would do it more often.
And they don't. I mean, being playing Dungeons and Dragons, you are your character. You don't know. You're living that perspective. You don't take the outside life, the real life, into the game. So like, I've tried to play Dungeons and Dragons with my brother and his friends before, but just that like older brother rivalry. I'm usually the first person to die because always something
Right.
pops up. I mean, do you guys have that when you play? People that like to just throw random bullshit at certain people just for fun.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the guys that I play with now are it's guys out in California
Hmm.
still. Um, so like when I go out to California, I always like keep my Friday night free so I can go join the boys and and get in on the game. And so all the people that I've been, in that group, I mean, I've been playing with D&D with those guys for like, 10 or 12
Hmm.
years, some of them. So we know how each other's works and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, are you guys just imagination when you play? I know they make like now little figurines that people paint. So you can actually like kind of see shit and maps that you lay
No,
out.
we do. Yeah, we have figs, for combat, for combat purposes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Uh,
So like once it actually turns into a
mhm,
fight, then it like goes to the table. You know what I mean? And it's the squares and
mhm.
the figurines and how many moves you can make and you know what I mean and that kind of thing.
What's your longest session? Like, what's the longest you guys sat down and played one session?
Oh man, I couldn't even tell you. It would be like from early morning into late night.
Oh man, it's just crazy.
I mean, there was one house I lived at where like five of us lived
Hmm.
together, and so the living room was the big table with the figurines. Like it was the D&D room was already sitting out there, and so I mean, we just played all the fuck time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A couple of us were jobless, and I was in a band, so we just had like all day to play D&D sometimes. You know what I mean?
Are you only playing D&D with that group in California, or do you have now a smaller group in Nashville?
No, I haven't met anybody here yet. That I know that I could play with. Um, so
Dang. You played. I mean, it's. I don't think it's the similar, but back in the arcade Gauntlet, right? I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
similar
yeah,
in a way, right? I mean, just
kind of. It was like the first like it had a thief and a thing and like that. But like the older like when we're younger,
mhm,
you play Dungeons and Dragons more like a video
mhm.
game. Where it's like I want the better armor,
Yeah,
and I want a better sword, so I'm going to go fight the harder monster, and get the better sword, so I can fight the hard. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And you kind of are trying to build your character and get stuff for him and shit like that, and like the older we
mhm,
are, now, like, and I get together with these guys, that I've known, forever, and we're smoking blunts and, they're taking, shots of whiskey and it's really more like the funner part is like the interaction of
okay,
characters, and like really more of the what the like role playing, you know what I
mhm,
mean? And it's not like we're like you know speaking like the
yeah,
blah
yeah,
or whatever. It isn't that. It's like it's like a really intense poker game of trying to like fool your friend, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all kinds of weird things start to happen where this character doesn't want that character to know,
Mm.
that he took the thing, and everybody's looking for it, and the one guy's trying to hide it, and it's all like an interaction of people. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It isn't just like my character has +5 armor and has helmet that I can hear everybody. You know what I mean? It's
Y-
not. It's not about that. It's really more about like creating a story line that that we're all like involved in. Like.
You have you had any moments when you're playing? I mean, through all the years where you like broke out in a brawl, or you just like flip the table and just say "fuck you" to someone, or you know, because of anything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's been fights,
The typical kind of thing.
you know, but I mean, it's been many, many more times than we've actually had like fights in the real world. We've had fights in the fantasy world and wiped. The whole party has wiped itself out. With like one guy limping away with like 3 hit points and a bag full of gold.
Yeah.
Like he took from everybody else. Like that shit used to happen all the time,
Oh
man.
man.
In fact, like there was this one campaign that we started, and like we started it like three
Hmm.
times, and then said fuck it, because like 3 times the party would get into the thing and just like get in fights with each other and start a brawl, and everybody would pick sides and just wipe each other out. It was ugly.
Jeez. When's the last time you sat down and played? I mean, obviously it's been a little bit because of
Uh, it was
this.
about it was just about Christmas time. Like I was out in California for the holiday, for Christmas, and so like right now the game, like basically they keep a game just for me.
Okay.
So when I'm out there, we do the Old West game. Um, that way, like I'm not jumping in and out of another game and like kind of fucking it all up. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Go, hey, I'm here, and then I'm gone, and then I'm here another week. That's lame,
Is there like a
So
binder that you all keep that you just close, and when you get there, you just open it back up and continue, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. The DM remembers, where everything is, and we all kind of remember, what's happening. I certainly do because it's the only game that I'm playing. But so like the game we're playing right now is it's like an old west game set in about like
mm,
1890, like the Gilded Age. So it's after the Civil War, but before the earthquake in San Francisco, um, gold rush, time. And it's cool. It's real fun. It's kind of like there's it's kind of like the Wild Wild West, where there's a little bit of like creeping technology,
okay,
is like coming in, and then there's also like magic is like voodoo, and like Chinese, you know ancient Chinese magic, and shit like that. So it's pretty cool. It's a fun game.
is
And then they do kind of a more like medieval game, and then they also do a space game, a spacefaring game.
dang, dang. So what's the end goal on that Midwest one? I mean, is there like something that you're working towards, or you just? I mean, how does it work?
Not really. Like my character was I made him be he was a former Union uh, soldier that was part of the Wounded Knee
Okay.
massacre, and then they like kicked him out of the army after that, and then so he hates Indians,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he became a Pinkerton. You know what the Pinkertons
No.
are? Like the Pinkertons were the like original private eyes back then. Like if you needed a private cop, you hired the
Okay.
Pinkertons. Like the Pinkertons tracked down Butch and Sundance. Like the cops
Okay.
couldn't. You know what I mean? So the railroad hired the Pinkertons to go after him. So my guy's a Pinkerton, and so he kind of gets, he goes around and solves shit and collects things for the Masons and stuff.
And what's everyone else's character? What's their class ability or whatever?
Like one of them is she's like a Japanese she's a Japanese like geisha that's actually like a like a kind of a thief
Mm-hmm.
assassin. And I think there's the one girl. It's a like a Mormon girl
Mm-hmm.
who ran from the Mormons because she wanted to carry a pistol. And who else was there was the Chinese guy, but he died. And there was the kind of cowboy ruffian dude. And there was the mule skinner too. He was like a buffalo hunter, like a mule hunter, like a mountain man. He shot the long rifle.
Is the end goal for this? I mean, are you guys like trying to start your own city, or I mean, is going into it?
No, I mean we live in SF now, and we're kind of becoming part of the, you know, uh, like we're becoming known in San Francisco. My character is a Mason
Mm-hmm.
because the Pinkertons and the Masons were kind of linked up together, and then so then I then my character has gotten to know like Leland Stanford and the Hearsts and them like the big robber baron type people, and we've done stuff for them. And,
When you guys are
lots.
when you guys are playing, you guys are you playing music in the background? Or I mean, do you have anything, or is it just quiet solitude?
Yeah, they play some music.
And what is that? Is that like Exodus metal, or are you playing country, or
No, the guy who like the dudes that I play with, they're big like Zappa type
okay?
people. So they play kind of this like it's not quite noise music, but it's like like ambient, uh, you know like ambient mood
Mm-hmm.
sound type stuff. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Dang.
So,
Wow. Do you have a bunch of figurines of your own personal collection?
I don't have so many anymore. I have an old box of some that were my old favorites, and it's kind of funny every time I can like open it up and like I can pull out each one of the guys, and I can tell a fucking bunch of stories about like that person, and it like sounds like it was something that really happened. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
mean? Like when you tell a story of a D&D game, it sounds like something that really happened with people. Like, and then we did this, and then we did that, and then and it's like so it's kind of funny. Like the old box has some old characters in it, and I can like pull them out and go, yeah, remember when we did that, or remember when you did that.
Do you? Oh, okay. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, fair enough. Did you watch the animated series? Did you ever like get that far into it?
The old Saturday
Yeah, I
morning.
think now it's like my dad owns it on
Yeah,
DVD.
yeah, it was pretty bad, but we all watched it because it was the only thing that was even remotely
Mm-hmm.
close.
Oh,
But it was one of those things where like some corporate dickball in an office who never knew anything about Dungeons and Dragons wrote the script.
mm-hmm.
Like somebody probably gave him a script and he looked at it and went, "I have no idea what this even means. Let's make it this instead." Okay, go. And
So you're not a fan.
it was
Okay,
pretty.
fair enough. Fair.
I mean, I'd sit and watch them all again, of course, but you know,
So
like they've never really done Dungeons and Dragons well in any type of medium. You know what I mean?
how many different dice sets do you own, and do you have a favorite that like you like always play with?
I have dice that I've owned since I was in high school,
Mm.
and I still play with those dice.
You don't have like a
Like,
collection of different assortments just because they look badass,
I
or
no. I have a couple extra, different ones. I just ordered this set of dice that I saw
mm-hmm.
online, and they're like brass with like enamel inlay
Mm-hmm.
on them, and like they're fucking killer. They look really killer. And they're like heavy. They're like metal,
Mm-hmm.
But but I'm still gonna use the old God Slayers when it's time to play. They're the ones that I count on.
Do you let us go?
They either make me triumphant in like biblical epic ways, or a failure in total biblical epic ways, like both. So
Do you, do you know, or have you, I guess, any project you've been in, band or whatever? Do you, or you have a song in a game that you're aware of? I mean, I know a lot of games have soundtracks of
no,
artists.
no, no. We were supposed to get one in the guitar, one of those guitar ones when all that was going on, but then they just got unpopular so fast that it didn't
I mean,
happen.
shit, I have Guitar Hero 3 still. I have Guitar Hero Live for the PS4, and I have Rock Band. I mean, I enjoy it because I
I don't,
musically can't.
you know, I can't say that, to be honest, because I know there was a guy that I used to like. I used to just go in and put bass on his
Mm-hmm.
stuff, for
Yeah.
him, and I think he got a couple things in some video games, but I can't remember what it was, or what.
Hmm.
But nothing that I got, like, nothing major, like nothing noteworthy.
Gotcha. Dang. Do you, um, in your spare time, do you ever find yourself playing any like song or tunes from a game back in the day on it? You know, because I know like Damien, he'll play like Super Mario Brothers or whatever on the bass.
No, no,
Nothing. Hmm.
no. One song that does stick with me though from a game is Tron.
Okay.
The music from the stand up game Tron.
What year? What year is that?
It was kind of the movie music too, but like the little interludes that they played between screens and stuff like that. That stuff that makes me remember being back down in the arcade, for sure.
Do you miss managing the arcade? Do you would you relive that
Yeah.
again? Not the whole lifespan since then, but just any of those times.
Well, I mean, I don't know. No, I mean, bunch of fucking brat kids and punk ass fucking wannabe gang member fucks, and it was all right. I mean, whatever. It was what it was, but it
Dang. I mean, that's
wasn't like my
that's so.
wasn't my glory years or whatever.
How many people know
Much
about that?
better. It's much better being on stage in front of thousands of people and rocking. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? That's
How many people know
much
about
better.
that past, life of managing arcades? I mean,
Oh, a lot of my old friends,
so
because everybody used to come and party with us. In fact, I still have one of my buddies. He calls me Flynn still because of the movie Tron. Jeff Bridges' character Flynn like runs the arcade,
oh, gotcha.
and so like ever since even back then he called me Flynn, and he still calls me Flynn from being at the arcade.
Dang, dang. So this is an exclusive look into this side of you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's some good bonus for
It's
people.
not that I keep it's really not that I keep it
Mm.
hidden. It's that nobody gives a shit.
True, and and that's like my whole premise behind this is like, not that anyone cares, but it's like, why not know something else about the artists that you like or something? So, I mean, this is all I do. I sit here and play games all day long. I mean, what else? I mean, who knows when we're getting out of this shit. Dang.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going back to work for a while, dude.
It sucks. I'm watching tours left and right get canceled, you know? Shit, is there anything else you have?
Yeah, man.
Just staying at home, writing new shit for your other projects, and enjoying life.
Yeah. That's about it. Taking naps. I've been really upping my nap game a lot.
Gotcha. I mean, probably I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, but probably one of the longer breaks that you've had in a while from being on the road traveling.
Actually, last year wasn't that busy for us because we were waiting for this year to be busy. Stupid. Like we were waiting to make the record and be on tour. So.
Gotcha.
So hopefully Gary and Tom have to hammer out the new stuff, and we really need to record by the end of the summer. But we'll see how that goes.
Where do you guys record at? In San Fran?
In the Bay. Yeah.
Dang. Well, thank you for giving me time of your day to do this. I know, you've been busy and hasn't really lined up, but, I appreciate you for
lined up today.
Yeah, partaking in this. Awesome. Well, stay healthy. Hopefully we'll see each other soon.
All right, my man.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more upcoming videos.